Hey everyone, what's going on? Jeff here from Films at Home, and 1 week after seeing Oppenheimer, I saw Barbie, so I'm fully in the Barbenheimer mood, and I want to give you my thoughts on the Barbie movie in this movie review. Hey everyone, thanks for coming back to the channel today. This is a movie review. Typically I'm talking physical media and Blu-ray, but I do love mixing in more movie content, lists, top 10s, recommendations, and of course reviews for you all as well, because as you know, if you're collecting movies, you love movies, so I hope you enjoy this. But like I said, 1 week after seeing Oppenheimer, I got back to the theater for the first time in like a year. It's been crazy, but I saw two movies back-to-back weekends, and this time it was Barbie, which has been a hot topic online, a little bit controversial. It's gotten review bombed by a few angry people complaining about it being woke, which, as you know, I think is a completely meaningless term that I'm not going to mention again. But I want to give you my thoughts on whether or not this movie is worth going to see in the theaters. So Barbie has a pretty serious pedigree with director Greta Gerwig, writer Noah Baumbach, who's written a ton of great stuff. You got Margot Robbie in the lead role. You got Ryan Gosling. You've got Will Ferrell. You got Simu Liu. You got America Ferrera. You've got a pretty solid cast with tons of other people. Kate McKinnon, Dua Lipa's in this. There's a ton of fun little cameos. Issa Rae is great in this as well. A great cast, a great filmmaking team behind it, and obviously the marketing campaign maybe of the century when it comes to movies, which has driven this to massive box office numbers that I don't think even the top analysts could have predicted. But the question is the movie really worth seeing? And I'm going to start with some of the cons, and then I'll get into the pros and things I liked about the movie. So cons for me, number one was runtime. I do think that this was a little bit long. It's pushing 2 hours, an hour and 50 minutes, which, you know, compared to Oppenheimer, 3 hours, and many other movies' runtimes, not super long, but I think this is a movie that could have been neatly packaged about 10 to 15 minutes shorter, and some editing could have taken place. So I think that was a con, and I think most of that comes from the time that the Barbie and Ken characters experience in the real world. I think a little bit of that dragged on. I think a little bit of it, if you've seen the film, was kind of a glorified car commercial. There was some serious product placement for Chevy, which just took me out of the movie for a minute, because it literally is a car commercial that they're showing on TV, and the movie just, it looked just like that. So there was some gratuitous product placement. There was stuff they could have cut to make this really tight. I think the other con is sort of understanding what the message is, because I get that this movie is a movie about feminism and about the way that our world is so different from, you know, Barbie's ideal world, but then also, you know, how that affects the Kens, which are really like the women and the real, and there's all these themes, right? We get that. But they try to kind of cram too much in. And even talking to my wife, you know, I want a female perspective on this. I'm a man. I shouldn't be the only person talking about this. You know, I asked her, and she said, yeah, that was the most confusing thing for me, was like, what was the message? Is it like girl power, or is it like down with the patriarchy, or is it like society needs to change, or is it like men need to change, or, you know, should you like go after your dreams? Or like, she was like, there were so many messages crammed into a short hour and 50 minutes that you didn't really know what to take away from it. And honestly, the ending, without spoiling anything, for her was a little bit confusing. Like, what does this actually mean to me? Because it was very ambiguous and a little bit open-ended. So now on the pros, the cast is great. Okay, Issa Rae is very funny. Margot Robbie is great. She's actually like playing a deadpan almost, because she's stereotypical Barbie, that she doesn't have these like big over the top like funny moments. She's very deadpan, very dramatic, like she's doing a lot of there's a lot of like physical comedy that she's doing, which was great. To me, Ryan Gosling is the standout of this film, along with Kate McKinnon. I thought their two characters were absolutely hilarious. Every time Kate McKinnon was on the screen, I was like, this is fantastic. And Ryan Gosling drops so many one-liners. He is so funny when they just let him run with stuff. And if you've never seen him in a comedy like Crazy Stupid Love or The Nice Guys, even to a lesser degree, Lars and the Real Girl, like, go check out his comedic chops, because he's hilarious. And he was definitely, some of his lines are going to be quoted. He is the meme of this movie. Like, I could see his stuff's gonna be posted online for years. So funny in this role. Simu Liu also did a really good job being sort of that anti-character. And then I haven't mentioned, but Michael Cera as Alan had some really funny deadpan moments. So like overall, it's a pretty funny movie when it hits. The cast was great. They bought into it. This was full-on satire, something that we haven't really seen in many years. Like, we don't get so many satirical movies anymore like we used to with Scary Movie and, you know, Disaster Movie and Not Another Teen Movie and all these satires that were coming out, and then going further back like Blazing Saddles and Airplane, so many, Police Academy. There were so many great satires, and this was refreshing to get back to that. I also thought that the movie was really well done. Like, the set pieces are awesome, super colorful. The costume design should probably be nominated for an Oscar for best costume, best set production, maybe best makeup. I mean, everybody's characters. I mean, it just, if you love Barbie and you love that world, like, all the costumes are here. So many little Easter eggs, stuff that I didn't get because I didn't have sisters or anything, so I never touched Barbie, to be fully honest with you. But my wife was laughing at it. I'm like, there's so many Easter eggs if you're a huge Barbie fan. So many little callbacks, so many funny moments. It gets very meta at times too. It doesn't take itself too seriously, which I liked. So I had a really good time with it. I definitely think it's worth seeing in the theaters. I thought I had a really good experience in the theater. Granted, a lot of 16 to 21-year-old girls, which means a lot of phones out in the theater, which could be a little bit annoying, but even the older audience, there were some real good belly laughs. Everybody was having a good time in there. The music is excellent. I mean, it's a really fun time at the theater. I just think it has a few flaws and some of those cons, which definitely, you know, I don't love this as much as I think some other people do. I think I would give this a solid, like, 3 to 3.5 out of 5. I think it's a good movie. It's fun to watch, but I've seen people putting it on like best picture lists for the year. I don't think it touches that level. I think it has too many cons and too many weird things in the middle of the movie specifically that hold it back from that. But overall, a fun time, and definitely one I think you could experience with kids, maybe older kids. There were complaints online about like the sexual innuendos and stuff like that. Honestly, most of that's going to go right over kids' heads. It was not super serious. I think if your kid is anywhere in the like 10 to 12-year-old range, they'll be fine with this movie. You won't have an issue. And then obviously, you know, 13 plus, it'd be a good movie to go see with a sort of more mature preteen or teenager. So if you've got family members in that range, I think they'll have a lot of fun seeing the movie. I'd say it's probably not a movie for 5 or 6-year-olds, even though that's sort of Barbie's target market. That's not what this movie is for in particular. Although, like I said, most of that stuff would fly right over their heads. And so people who were offended by it were personally offended by it. I don't think it's going to affect their kids whatsoever. So thanks for watching this. If you want more movie reviews, physical media content, if you just love movies, if you want to start collecting movies, Blu-ray, 4K, DVD, I have all kinds of content here on the channel. So come check it out. Make sure you subscribe and like this video so we can share this review out to a wider audience. Appreciate the support. And as always, make sure to follow me on social media and check out all the other ways you can support me and the channel down in the description. And if you're on a TV, scan the little QR code here with your phone camera, and that'll bring you right to all those links as well. So thank you all for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, stay healthy out there, and I'll talk to you all soon.